Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Nico, and joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. I'm feeling a little refreshed. Got a nap in, Chris, before we start recording here today.
It's always good to be refreshed.
Yeah, that's a word for it. Let's see if I can remember what happened in the comics here today.
I don't know. We'll see.
Welcome back, everybody. This is our comic book review show, our weekly comic book review show where me and Chris talk about the comics that we read every week. And we come here, we give them some ratings and talk about the books. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure to check out some of our playlists here of different types of videos, different types of content that we put out on the channel as well. A new show actually just started this past week that'll be running through the NFL playoffs. If you guys are also into sports, we got a new show there with JT and Rob that are basically covering the NFL playoffs all the way to the Super Bowl. So that's that first episode just came out last week, which is even a surprise to me. I didn't know about that one. They kind of snuck that past me myself. So
What happened in that Casey game? I heard they're trying to
oh,
save some points or get some extra points, cover the spread.
so I think the big thing that people were talking, I don't know about that, but the big thing that people were talking about with the KC game is that there was a lot of bad calls. The NFL is quite enamored with the Chiefs,
Yeah.
let's say, because of the Taylor Swift kind of stuff that's been going on between her and Travis Kelce. And there's some bad calls that were made during that game, right? So, I think people are questioning how legit that whole team's successful run has been. And if they win this year, it'll be a three-peat, 3 Super
Yeah.
Bowl wins in a row. So, I mean, they're looking good, but that's
They're
where I
coming
think.
up against the Bills, though, aren't they? And this might be the first time in a long time I've been rooting for the Bills then to win.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, the Bills beat my Ravens this past week. I like the Bills too, but Baltimore is one of my teams, and so's the Bills. But Josh Allen, he's looking great. So yeah, I'm actually going to be rooting for them against KC this upcoming week as well, Chris. Yeah, so I agree with you there. So there you go, guys. Get a little sports talk here today as well. But if you guys want to hear more of that, definitely go check out that show. I think that in the feed there actually will be an episode after this airs. By the time this is out, you're going to see another episode talking about this past weekend of playoff football. It's great stuff. I mean, I always love the playoffs for football. Absolutely. This week on the Comic Shop Talk, we're talking about the new comics that came out for the week of January 15th, 2025. And as always, before warned, there is a spoiler warning. We are going to be talking about what happens in the books. We are going to be showing off some of the artwork here. So if you're worried about getting spoiled, just read your books and then come back. All right, Chris.
All right. Well, let's talk comics.
Talk some comics. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. First up on the docket here today, we got big release Ultimate Wolverine #1 this week. Highly anticipated.
Yep, got the A cover too.
Yeah. All
I'm
right,
glad I
Chris.
got this comic. My comics have been a little bit wonky lately with the diamond troubles, but we'll see how it goes. But as for this comic here, I didn't mind it too. It was pretty good. The whole Wolverine story is still a bit kind of confusing, and where they're fighting and why they're fighting, it's still all up in the air. And it didn't help that when Mystique was, well, spoiler alert, she seems to get freaking sliced and diced here early, but she was under the guise of Colossus there. That kind of threw me for a bit of a loop to figure out what's going on, to reread a few things. and then he has a little bit of an incident with Nightcrawler as well. So they're really I believe they're starting out with a bang here. Like this was a good #1 issue. It's not oh, you're gonna see Wolverine and they spend the half the comic with him in the past, trying to find his mother or something like that. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, I agree. I agreed, and there's still a lot to learn, I'm sure, about this. And like you said, it kind of was just it was a lot of action in this one, and they literally just dropped you into it as they did Wolverine here in this issue, and he goes like berserker mode here and kills a bunch of people, and it's the classic mind wiped controlled Wolverine type of deal going on here, and he's being used. Whether or not he's being used for good or bad, it's kind of questionable right now. I'm pretty sure he's on the opposing side, right? That they're using
Yeah,
him
he's
as
on the
a
bad
weapon.
guy side, it seems.
That's right. But I mean, he doesn't know any better. So like we're just seeing this from his perspective. He's a man of few words in this comic, but then there is some references to Weapon X type of stuff. There is some references to, like you mentioned, some of his teammates that we're used to seeing him with, especially Nightcrawler that we killed in this, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, I like this, and I thought the art was pretty awesome too.
Yep.
I thought the art, what's this guy's name, Alessandro Capuccio. I think he used to draw the Jed McKay Moon Knight comic, if I'm not mistaken, which he's still working on. Jed McKay, anyways. I think that's where I've seen this guy before. But yeah, good stuff. Good first issue. Like you said, it kind of just dropped us in the middle of a bunch of interesting things here, and I'm looking forward to it. It's this Ultimate line has been great so far. At least that's the titles that we've been reading. I know that there's a couple others, but from what I understand, the Ultimate X-Men one still is continuing to feel more like a horror manga, not really representative of the of a
Yeah, I don't know why they call that X-Men, but from what I hear, it's still selling pretty well. So it
yeah.
does have its fans.
Absolutely. And it's Peach Momoko, and there's people that like horror manga. So, like, if this is just some interpretation of that where she's able to do that kind of thing, yeah, that's cool. I'm all for it. This is going to be more representative of an X-Men book for me, at least. Like, it's our version of this character, let's say. I also feel like maybe I've dropped the ball and not continuing to read Black Panther, because I feel like every other title I've been really enjoying in this world. So, I might have to go back and check that out at some point. What'd you give this, Chris?
I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Same. Yeah. Solid 4 or 5. And looking forward to more. You gave me just enough, I feel like, to be interested here. So next up, Rogue the Savage Land #1.
Okay, well, everybody buckle up. Looks like we might have a few minutes just to show off the covers here.
That's right. Here we go.
I ended up getting 2 covers, so
I ended up getting 5 covers. I went all in.
Well, first, of course, got the A cover here.
Yeah.
I'll let you show off your covers there.
Okay, hold on. So yeah, like you said, the A cover, got that one. Carrie Andrews. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, possibly my favorite. I really like this one. Nick Bradshaw.
Yep.
Really like that one. Then we got J. Scott Campbell. Then we got Russell Dodderman. Got this kind of like a design one, like it shows off the designs of Jim Lee. It kind of attributes the fact that he designed this character here, and it kind of goes through all the things that you have to include to the character: leather pouch, knife hilt, and holster, wood staff, animal teeth jewelry. So yeah, kind of cool, like kind of more like a fashion design kind of spread type of deal here. So that I thought that was kind of neat. And yeah, last but not least, Adam Hughes foil cover here. Oh, there he goes.
I didn't order this one, but he had it on my shop, and while he was looking through the comics that came in, he goes, "Oh, I got an Adam Hughes here. I'll take it."
That's
this cover freaking rocks.
Yes, I know. That's why I said it might be one of my favorite from the Bradshaw, because this might have taken it here. And I'm not even that huge of a foil cover buyer, really, but this is a nice looking cover. Absolutely, he draws a hell of a rogue. He didn't phone this one in. You know what I mean? So
definitely not.
Stuff. Yeah,
he's been on fire with his last few covers. He had that last Black Cat and Mary Jane one, and now this one here. He's I'd be buying his covers blind now, I think.
Needless to say, really enjoy all the covers for this comic. I really thought that this was a great one, and even my LCS surprised that I went all in on these covers, because I'm not usually, I don't usually buy multiple covers of certain comics, right? But like between this and Magic lately, I was like, yeah, these are some of my favorite X-Men, so I gotta get these covers, right? So I've been busting it out lately. But Chris, what'd you think of the actual book here?
I do like that it didn't take place in the modern day or the current time setting. and it didn't have anything to do with finding little kids. This just seemed to be like an old
Yeah.
school X-Men story. You just going back to where they were. It's kind of cheesy how they explain why she has no clothes and what happened to him. But hey, they want to explain it, let him go. The art, I thought, like if they had a superstar artist on this, or an up and coming sort of artist that was under the radar, that could draw really hot people, let's say, this would have made him a superstar. Him or her, this would have made them a superstar. I think still the art is decent,
Yeah.
but it could have been cranked up just a bit
Yeah.
especially if they seem to be going all in with this sort of cheesecake. If you're going to lean into it, I say push hard.
Yeah.
And for the story, yeah, the story's fine. A bit of her struggling in her early days, I guess, in the Savage Land, and it does kind of crank up a notch there, where she meets up with Magneto. There, they seem to have a moment. I guess I believe when this first came out, they were sort of, or they did end up kind of being a bit of an item during this time period. I guess whenever this was back in the '90s, and there's a new villain at the end that seems to be pretty interesting too. So I can't complain. No complaints on this one.
No, and I did want to point out that, as much as I went in with a couple of covers on the last big X-Men release with that Magic book, this was much better than that title, in my opinion. And I was actually satisfied with the fact that I invested in all these covers for this title and that I actually enjoyed the book. I thought this
Yeah,
was good. I thought this was good. Like you said, I do like that it's not a current day storyline. I thought I agree with you about the art, everything you said. I agree. This still looked pretty good, though. I think for an artist, I feel like this is the first time I've ever seen this artist. This wasn't bad by any means. I wasn't dissatisfied with the art, but yeah, if it was somebody that maybe I knew of more, that with it was maybe a bit more talented, or maybe has more pages under their belt, because I don't know how new this artist is, right? But the artist's name is Zulima Scotto Lavina, but I've never heard of this artist. But I didn't dislike the art. I thought it was decent. So and then yeah, there was like some like I don't know, like creature from the black, like some I don't know, like weird creatures in this that she has to fight, like the bad guys, like yeah, almost like creature from the Black Lagoon type creatures. And Tim Seeley wrote it well. It was good. I liked it. I mean, we got old Magneto. You got Kazar's trusty friend there. What's his name again? I always forget his name
oh,
there.
Zabu or something, or no?
Naboo, yeah. This was fun. It had all the kind of things you would expect. You've got to have Kazar in a Savage Land
Oh,
story, right? So I mean, now all we need is what's his name? Her name, Sheena, or not Sheena. What the hell's her name? That's the other character.
yeah, I know who you talk. Yeah, I forget her name too. Now you got Sheena in my brain.
Yeah, yeah. But good stuff. Honestly, I had fun with this. Yeah. So I look forward to the next one. I'm not disappointed that I got all those covers. I'll say that.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and it is actually a comic I think that was worthwhile. So yeah, definitely everything I said about the Magic one not being that good last week. This is definitely one I would suggest checking out, especially if you're not down with the current storylines going on with the X-Men stuff. And I'm glad, like Chris, you said, they didn't just threw in the Savage Land and try to use that version of the character in today's times, because I don't think that would have worked
Yeah.
that well, right? It's like, why is she in the Savage Land, right? So this makes sense that it's more a past storyline. What'd you give this?
The only drawback I don't like about this is when she's narrating. I'm getting tired of this rogue Southern speak that she has. There's too much of it in that Uncanny X-Men. If this was it, then it's fine. And perhaps in my world, it might be just this from now. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely give this a 4.
I just had to look at my shelf. It's Shanna, actually.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Janet the She-Devil.
Yeah, that's right. I got this Frank Cho drew a miniseries once upon a time of her. Great. If you've ever come across this, definitely check this one out. This is good stuff. Good art. This is what you're looking for in terms of the cheesecake art in a storyline. Good, but that's Frank Cho for you. But yeah, I agree with you, man. I'll also give it a 4 out of 5 this week. It was good stuff. I liked it. Glad I picked it up, and glad this one did suck. So gave hope for some of the other miniseries to come. Next up, we got G.I. Joe number 3.
Did I get a copy of this? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got a variant copy. I think was it Finch?
Oh, yeah, David Finch. Take a look. Nice. Yeah, it's a
That's
good one.
not too bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's still more story building. I guess you get a bit of Clutch there. He's pulling some of the double agent thing. He thinks he almost gets found out, and you get to see some Cobra Commander doing some commander-like business, and it looks like he's a no-nonsense guy. You know, this ain't no cartoon commander here. And yeah, I guess there's that fight between Duke and Risk. So the Joes still seem to be in a bit of shambles here, and I think there's some talk about telling rock and roll's family. So there's still a lot of good things going on here. You know, I think they got one of those energon guns. They're trying to figure out how Cobra Commander is kind of putting things together with the energon. So that mystery's still afoot for the Joes at least. And yeah, I mean it's an okay story so far still.
Yeah, this might be my favorite issue of the series so far. And the fact that like what you said there about Cobra Commander being kind of like this ain't no cartoon. Honestly, the whole scene with the floor opening up and him throwing him into the pit. This guy who is
Yeah,
basically he's like a Cobra Law guy who's basically tried to kill him and was in disguise. And you thought that he was talking about the Joe that's in disguise there, that's
yeah,
infiltrated their compound. But like that was such a classic supervillain, like Dr. Evil type move. Like the fact that he threw him in that pit of snakes. That's like honestly one of my favorite scenes in comics this week. I was like, that's great stuff. I
that
really
Austin Powers with Will Ferrell. I don't think I'm dead here. Can you send some help?
yeah, I tried to burn him alive and he's like, I'm very badly hurt. Yeah, it just like yeah, it reeked of like classic, like super villain type of
Yeah,
move. And the floor opens up and like you just throw. I like for me, I thought that was like in a way that is very cartoonish, like what happened, but it's real, like it's like real stakes in the sense that like he just killed this guy, right? So
yeah,
like it's great stuff. I really enjoyed that scene, and then like you said, you get these two are still fighting each other here in this scene. You get they let their frustrations out against one another, and Buddy's basically pulling his UFC fights on Duke there. Yeah, good stuff. And Riley, I think, is doing a great job on the art. I'm enjoying this. I thought this issue was really good. So yeah. Oh yeah, and then your Tomax and Zaymot there showed up at the end, right?
yeah,
So yeah. Anything else?
yeah. No, that's all good. I give it a 3.75.
I got to go forward with this one as well for that one scene. That one scene put it over the top for me this week. I got to give it a 4 out of 5. There you go, out the gate. Some good ones here this week. All right, Jupiter's Legacy finale number 3, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm caught up or if this is coming out slowly, but I seem to forget what's kind of happening in this world. But this one's kind of slowing down on me with what's happening. I think they've captured one of I guess I don't even know the overlords or whatever that was sitting there, and he does come up with a pretty great line though in this here. You know, I guess he's told this the people there. I don't know even what planet they're on, maybe Jupiter, I guess, but you know that the overlords are coming to wipe him out in 7 days, and they're making all these plans to try and
Mm,
teleport 10 billion people. You know, they're all talking about how they're working together and how these heroes are inspiring everybody, and everybody's, oh, you're my hero, and then the other person's like, oh, no, no, you're my hero, and then this prisoner goes. I think he just kind of pulls out that line. You know, they kind of go, holy smokes, what's happening here? And he goes, why would you believe I said 7 days? You know, you had no, I just said that, you know, there was like no way to back up this story that they're coming. And I did like the ship. It looks like freaking some screaming Mohawk guy coming at you. And they just go to town here. And it's good to see the stakes sort of being ramped up here, and the villains aren't so stupid.
I think what ended up happening was I think you missed the second issue there, Chris. I don't think you read it in time for the show. Maybe that's why you felt like
Yeah.
it was a little disjointed, because I think they set up that alien thing at the end of the first issue. And then I think I don't know, recall if you read the second one in time for the show last time we talked about it, but yeah, basically that's the main storyline here, is that the aliens are coming to take out the heroes, And yeah, he basically just reminds them how insignificant they are, and like how and what, and this whole thing that's happening here, all it all is, and how powerful they are, right? And they come basically with a whole armada here at the end, and yeah, it doesn't look good for the heroes here, but I'm sure they'll figure a way out of this because
basically, isn't at the end here they're just able to sort of teleport themselves, and the planet just pretty much, I guess, got incinerated or something.
yeah, so. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to how this all ends. I mean, it definitely took a swerve, and it was unexpected on the fact that they threw in all these aliens here in the finale, because I've read all the other Jupiter's Legacy, but that's the threat that they're trying to take down in this one, and I'm looking forward to how it all ends, how it all shakes up here and ends for these guys. What'd you give this?
I give it 3.75. I like it.
Yeah, 3.75 out of 5 this week. Yeah, good stuff. All right, Chris, got a few here you read. First up, we got Action Comics 1082.
Ooh, I think I got the cover for this one. I'm not sure I even ordered this in my LCS, but he threw it in. There's who's the writer here? Ridley. He's supposed to be somebody. I think he wrote some movie scripts or something like that.
Yeah, John Ridley. Yeah, that's right.
And I guess the big deal here is this major disaster. The art here it's still good stuff. And this major disaster, I think they referenced that he was a hero that Superman helped, like way back in Action Comics, whatever. And, Superman sort of got him on the straight and narrow. And it starts out with him, I think, robbing a bank or something. And then I guess Superman's still struggling or this is while he's with that anger that seems to be struggling with now. And the events here are supposed to take place before the events of absolute power. So the timeline's kind of messed up, but he seems to be struggling with the same things. And he gets this guy Major Disaster. They actually stops him and he arrests him, and Major Disaster says, "I'm guilty." Superman's kind of curious as to why what happened, and he goes into his Clark Kent mode and starts interviewing all these people around him. It was okay, but I think near the end, Superman loses his powers, or he gets into a fight with somebody, and then somebody cracks someone, and and he cuts his face, and that's the end of it. So I don't know. Didn't see like Superman just lost his powers recently again. With that parasite stuff. I think earlier in this series, I think that's a trope that you gotta kind of let die, and I don't like him bringing that back all the time. So I wasn't a big fan of the story here, and I'd give it a 3.5. But the art's great. Story, it's a bit engaging, but I don't know if it's gonna pull me in.
Right. Okay. And I guess the whole weekly
I think that's over now.
Wade thing is over now. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think with that weekly, I didn't want to get any of them. I think I ended up getting all of them somehow. And that LCF getting me good.
You're getting books you didn't even order. Other ones they haven't showed up yet.
I just take what I get there. Now you got this. Yeah, I'll take it. Whatever. Give me a blind box. You've seen my pull list for the last few years. You just make it up. And I'll tell you if I don't want something.
Yeah.
I'll still take it though.
Next up here we got the Scorched 37.
Yeah. So here, this one starts out. I think it opens up with them. What's her name? Jessica Priest. She's lying there with her arm ripped off, and the rest of the Scorch team is all beaten up. And I think there's some church that's the enemy here. They don't fight for heaven or hell. They've just been kind of looking out for themselves, and they seem to have the upper hand. Everybody's all done, and then I think just they think they're all about to die, and Jessica's kind of like, oh. I'm asking for my last rites, and I think Haunt is there, and he was a priest in his former life, but his Haunt persona is gone now. I don't know what's happening, and since this is the church group, they sort of honor the priest's request, or Jessica Priest's request for the priest to give her the last rites, and while he's doing that, I guess that buys them enough time to. For whatever magical reason, maybe that's going to be explained in the actual Spawn series, is they all get their powers back, and so it goes from they're started at the bottom, and and now they're back. So it looks like trouble for whoever's around them, and they got some pretty big villains there. I think there's not the Viscerator, or yeah, the Viscerator. It's supposed to, I think, the Violator's sister or something like that. So
Oh, okay.
they got some big villains there. So that should be a real bang up issue next time if I ever get it. But it was okay. I like this one. I give it a 3.75.
Okay, cool. And then you got Avengers Assemble #5.
Yeah, this one was kind of moving on a positive rail or track, and I don't know. I think it goes off the tracks here. You know, Captain America's turned into a whatever, the Serpent Man, and you know the whole sort of Avengers team gets up to fight, and you know they all kind of switch sides. I think the art is looking good. I still like Hercules in here. You know, there's some good characters, but it just seems to fall flat there. You know, with it all ending up here. And so I don't really have all that much to say about it. You know, everything kind of gets set back, and I don't know. There's some freaking dragon tears. You know, there's some interesting stuff that you know these guys are fighting for Mephisto, but he doesn't really make an appearance in this or something. You know, it's I guess it's just kind of interesting to see Mephisto being mentioned. You know, and that's just me hoping somehow he makes it into New York or something, and something turns there. But anyways, at the end, it's like, okay, us Avengers, the emergency response squad, you know, always stand ready, blah, blah, blah. 3.5.
This is the end of this miniseries too, right?
Yeah.
Overall, what'd you think of it?
Overall, I give maybe a 3.75. It was a good story, good characters. You know, it's nice to see some of these people. If they did this every once in a while, every few years, I don't know if I'd be buying it, but I'd definitely keep an eye on it.
Okay. Next up, I got a few here I've read. Batman and Robin Year 1, #4. I got this Riley Rossmo cover here, which I really like. And then the regular Chris Somney cover here is this one here. Yeah, still I feel like the star of this book is the Chris Somney art. I'm enjoying it just fine, but yeah, it's not like it's the best Bat book out, but depending how big of a fan you are of Chris Somney, which I am, I think it's worth just picking up for the art and getting to see him finally draw Batman. But you know, like I said, this isn't there's so many Batman books out. This one isn't kind of rising to the top in terms of like, this is my favorite Bat story going on right now. It's been pretty basic. Although I will say the things that I think Mark Waid is doing a good job of writing in this is that he is taking the time each issue to kind of give you some moments of the relationship between Robin, as this is Batman and Robin Year 1, like, you know, him being a kid in his care. Like in this issue, for instance, you got the social services lady coming over to check on him, and Bruce Wayne, you know, the eccentric millionaire guy, like what's the deal with the Playboy guy? Like what you know, is he taking care of this kid well? And there's this interesting kind of dynamic between how fed up Alfred is getting with him, and you know, his care for him as a father figure or whatever, since you know it's his ward or whatever. But I know they don't actually say that in this, but that's basically the whole, you know, if you read the older Batman comics, that was the whole stupid like thing that they came up with this relationship between these guys, because they're like, why would this rich millionaire playboy want a child? You know what I mean? So they had to like make some sense of it. So in this one, like, you know, Bruce, like they're both in like the Bat Cave, and like Alfred's trying to alert him to the fact that they just got in after crime fighting all night, and this woman from social services as it dropped in unexpectedly to check on them, and so they got to come up from the Bat Cave, and he pretends like he just like stopped. He came from working out. Oh, got a fire alarm going off in the background. And then he tells Robin, like Dick there, he's like, oh yeah, you got to pretend like you just woke up. And you know, he's being a kind of a pain in the ass about it. So like those dynamics and those scenes are the fun part, I guess, of this series so far. But again, it's not stuff I feel like you haven't seen elsewhere in some regards. So yeah, but drawn by Chris Somney, good stuff. And then in the end of this issue, another thing again that we've seen with the Robins, I think we most recently saw it with Damian probably a couple of years ago, is the fact that he's putting him in school. Like he's going to be going to his school now. So he's really pissed off about that, as I'm sure you can tell. So, but it's Dick though. It's not Damian. So I think I don't know if you've seen all these things happen with him. Maybe they're kind of re-examining that because in the older comics, maybe they didn't spend as much time on that and they just felt like it was normal what's going on, right? And then everyone's just accepted it up to now. I think that you've seen this more so with like Damian now because they've had a chance to kind of come at it with a younger Robin again here in more recent times, right? Tim was like a teenager, I think, when he came through. So, but now, so that's the most interesting part about this series. I'll give this a 3.75. And then next up, you got The Moon is Following Us, number 5. Daniel Warren Johnson cover here. Riley Rossmo, also one of the artists on here, along with Daniel Warren Johnson. And this is a really great series. I think it's 8 or 9 issues. I think every issue, I think it's been building and getting more enjoyable. Daniel Warren Johnson, a lot of thematically in a lot of his stories, he definitely, put some heart into it. He definitely got a family element in his stories a lot of the time, despite them being also fantastical. And this issue is just major action happening in this one. They're trying to get their daughter back out of this whole coma as they're in this dream state, this dream world. It's kind of like Little Nemo type of situation here. And in this one, this is where they go to war. They go to war with the people, and they find out that the guy that's been helping them this whole time, it seems that he's actually not on the level, and he had other intentions for them. And some of their companions get killed in this issue, and it looks like they're going to get killed. And they're in a dream state where it's like almost like Inception. They've gone so deep into the dream. If they die at this point, they're not actually going to come out of the coma that they're in. And meanwhile, the guy who's causing them all the trouble is actually outside of here, like on the outside watching them in this state, right? So it's not looking good for the parents in this. Great art, great action in this, and I give this a 4 out of 5. It's a really enjoyable series. Can't wait for the next one. Honestly, it's been getting better and better, and I think this is definitely something, if you missed the boat on, you should definitely go out and check this in a collection when it comes out, because DWJ, definitely one of the best creators out right now. Oh yeah, and then nightmares show up at the end to basically help them. The Penny's nightmares. I guess they haven't really shown nightmares in this dream world yet, and there's a couple of characters that show up at the end that are like, "We're Penny's nightmares. We're here to help you," or whatever. So like that's kind of interesting too how it ended. So I like that. Next up, Minor Arcana number 5. Right here, Jeff Lemire. This slice of life kind of supernatural book. And again, this is like a one of those series I think that's getting better with each issue. And at this point, I think the last few issues have been focused on introducing all these different characters that I'm sure that are going to have some sort of link together or come together in some way that live in this town. And in this one, you get introduced to into somebody, another new character, and he feels that that I don't know, like he's basically like his life's in a rut, and it's almost like the same stuff happens day in and day out, and he feels like something's about to happen. Like in his head, he's convinced that there's something that's about to happen to him. He sees signs around him. He sees things that he feels like are trying to tip him off about something that's going to happen in his life. And this weird mysticism type stuff is going on with him, and he doesn't know what it is or what's going to happen. Anyways, by the end of this issue, you see this guy, he goes out and goes to the bar, and he ends up cheating on his wife, it seems like with a hooker or some woman that he knows. They hook up in like a hotel or something, and he kind of feels bad about himself and what he did, and like the fact that I guess he's like, he doesn't know what the hell is going on with him in his life and the path that he's going down. And basically by the end of it, he gets in his car. I think he had a few prior to hooking up with this woman, gets into a car crash, and then he finds out that he ended up killing the person in the other car. He crawls out of the car not knowing what happened and saying, "Oh, okay, this must have been the thing that was supposed to happen that I've been feeling lately. Thank God I survived." And then he looks over and doesn't even realize there was a person in another car that didn't survive. So now it seems that like that's the thing, like he was trying to get tipped off to, I guess, in his life. So not looking good for this guy, to say the least. And I guess we'll see how all these things are connected and these weird occurrences that are happening in the town. I give this a 4 out of 5 as well this week. Good stuff. And if you like Jeff Lemire slice of life stuff, definitely check this out. So the next few very quick hits. I don't really have much to say on any of these. Let's see here. This is The Question, All Along the Watchtower, number 3. This series started off strong and I feel has gotten less interesting every issue. This issue was just okay. The Question is continuing to investigate stuff going on in the Watchtower. And I guess the big reveal in this one, what was it? Last one, I think it was revealed that that other Superman guy, what's his name? Vindicator was involved. In this one, you find out Vindicator is also working alongside Cyborg Superman. Cyborg Superman's the one that's basically infiltrated the JLA Watchtower and has basically been making all these things happen that the Question has had to kind of deal with as a result of being involved as the security of the Watchtower. So she finds out it's him by the end of this, and I guess we'll see where that goes. But it was just okay. I would give this a 3.25. It's not bad, but I just feel like it started off with a lot of promise, and it's just been very basic the last couple of issues since the first issue. So I'll give it 3.25. I think it's a 6-issue miniseries all in, though. I still really enjoy the character. I'll probably continue reading this one, though. Next up, New Gods number 2. I think I'm out on this book. I don't mind the New Gods, and there's some interesting art in this, like some indie looking art stuff, some art you wouldn't normally see, I guess, let's say in a superhero book. But I think New Gods is the type of superhero book that this, you could kind of pull this off in. But yeah, maybe it's just because I don't know enough about the New Gods, or I'm not really digging this interpretation of it. But I think I might just drop this and maybe revisit it if I hear good things somewhere down the line. I'm having a hard time following or caring for the stuff that's happening in here. Yeah, this page was good, though. I liked the look of Big Barda when she showed up with the baby with Mr. Miracle. That's the best part about this New God story so far. But everything else, I don't know. I'm just not that interested in this. And I think that's going to go for the next book I'm about to talk about here, too. But I give this one a 3 out of 5. And that's Challengers of the Unknown number 2. I'll also give this one a 3 out of 5. Yeah, just not an interest in this one. Batman teams up with one of the Challengers of the Unknown, as they're tending to do now in these couple of, like, you're basically getting JLA members continuing to team up with Challengers, aiding them in what they're trying to accomplish in this story. But again, maybe it's because I'm not as familiar with the Challengers, despite having seen them a lot. I just don't think these have been a very accessible miniseries. And I think that it's not that the art's not outstanding in either of these, where I'm like, oh, I got to check this out for this artist. And the stories just aren't hooking me. So I don't know. Maybe other people are enjoying these, but for me, it's been a tough sell. So I'm going to stick with a 3 out of 5 on this one. And I'm also dropping this one, I think. I don't think I'll be reading that anymore. And then you got Laura Kinney Wolverine. I know me and Chris talked about the first issue here, and I actually only read this because I thought you were going to check this out, Chris. This is another series I'm just also done with. Not interested in what they're not buying what they're selling here, Chris. I did read this digitally, so there you go. And you get this is the Elektra issue. Elektra's in this issue, and she's pissed off because she's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What are you doing in my territory?
This is my territory.
And you're just continuing that whole like status quo among all the X-Men books right now of her trying to aid like some young mutant who doesn't know what the hell's going on and is getting brought into captivity in this one, which is a fine story on its own, but not across 20 different titles, right?
Yeah.
So I thought the art was good, though. I did like the art, and I like Laura. I like X-23 or All New Wolverine, whatever you want to call her now, Wolverine. I just feel like you're getting the not original Daredevil and the not original Wolverine here. And I'm not hating on these people individually. I love Elektra. I love Laura. I just think that these two meeting in this book, it just seems like that's the only reason that they're putting these characters together. And it's just not working for me. And then it said like she's going to be in the next issue too. Daredevil, sorry, not Electra. So I don't know. It's yeah. I'll give it a 3.25 though. I don't hate it. Again, I'm just not interested in it so much right now. This storyline that they're telling. So
You know what I might be concerned about is I think it's going to be like some sort of anniversary of that giant-sized X-Men when the Colossus and all those guys came out. And I think they might be trying to strum together all these new mutants that they're either trying to find or the ones that are going on in Uncanny X-Men. And so whatever that 30th anniversary is, they're going to sort of relaunch those kids as sort of, I don't want to say X-Men replacements, but just try, kind of see if that throw that pasta against the wall and see if it sticks, which I don't think it will. But
no. I mean,
that's
listen,
just my 2 cents.
I was having this conversation with someone the other day, not this what you're saying, but to your point there. If they want to do like a Generation X type of like young teen type of mutant book, lump them all in together there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and just let and write that
Let nobody buy that and
which
make
is
the X-Men books good.
which is already happening with Exceptional X-Men. I think that's the Emma Frost one, right? Like,
Yeah.
but then if you look at it, you have a young team in Uncanny as well, and then you have all these singular ones that are across all these miniseries of them. Like, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe they are. That is the point. They're trying to bring all these people together, but then what you're going to do is you're going to spend entirely too much time on introducing new characters that you aren't going to develop, and then no one's going to care about, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem. So it's just like, it's not that I don't want to give New Mutants a chance in these books. It's that develop some of these characters, right? To like actually give us a book maybe where it's just they're the main focus. And if they are going to do that, like you said, if that is the plan and they're going to bring out an X-Men book, like you said, I don't know how successful it will be, but for anybody who wants to read that story, there you go. Instead of like dropping it in every single X title that we're getting right now, right? So, anyways, next up we got Batman Superman World's Finest 35, and I got the Chris Somney variant here. Yeah, it's a nice one. What'd you think of this, Chris?
Yeah, well, the art here is no complaints there. I think that's the person that replaced. I don't want to say replaced, but that followed up Dan Mora, and he's doing a great job here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have it's Batman. All right, no, but I guess more Batman and Robin. Well, I guess Superman was in this one too.
Aquaman.
They're hanging out with Aquaman, and he gets called back down to the kingdoms. And it seems like the kingdoms are at war, but wasn't one kingdom sort of influenced, or there's some sort of interloper down there or something that's kind of tainting their minds or something?
I believe so, yeah.
And and I guess they're fighting each other, and I don't know how Superman still gets kind of caught up, and it looks like he almost gets beaten down there. And I remember there's one scene there where he's saying, he couldn't help him. And then at the end, I guess that the Green is now involved.
Yeah.
And was there some talk about the Blue or something with Aquaman, and that's going to be some part of the world powers, like like the Green power. There's like the Speed Force, and I guess now they're trying to introduce this Blue.
Yeah, because Animal Man is the red, and the green is like Swamp Thing, and then people like that.
Poison Ivy and all that.
Right, and then I guess it's yeah, I think I don't know if that was the new Swamp Thing or like maybe a new villain that showed up at the end there.
At the end, that's the Floronic Man or something. I think that's
yes,
that's guy from Poison Ivy.
Yeah, it is Floronic Man. Yeah, well, I think it was a Swamp Thing villain too as well.
Okay,
yeah. So yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just looked at the picture. I didn't read it. I forgot who it was that showed up on the last page here, but. Yeah, I mean, between this and the Aquaman book, I think there's been some good Aquaman stuff lately. Actually, I thought this was this wasn't bad. I think this is right down the middle for me in terms of interest and how good of an issue this was. But like you said, I do really like the new artist that took over after Dan Mora left. I think he's doing a really great job, and the nice thing about this book, as you've mentioned, here he is, the Floronic Man. The nice thing about this book, as you've mentioned in the past, which is kind of giving you the chance to dip in and dip out, is that these arcs don't ever last that long. So if you're not really enjoying what they're telling, the story they're telling within, an issue or two, most likely they're gonna wrap up and move on to something else. So that being said, this was fine. I enjoyed it. I thought it had some interesting stuff in it. So
This also reminds me, well, before I give the score, I did read the Green Lantern, the Fractured Spectrum. I didn't tell you about that one. It's by the new writer Jeremy Adams. But I know maybe after this or somewhere in the between, I can give my little two bits about it.
Yeah, sure.
But as for this one, I don't know. I'm just still out on World's Finest. This was a decent story, but I don't know. I think there's like too much of all this stuff, and I'm just giving it 3.5.
Yeah, that's my rating on this one. Yeah, that's why I said it. I thought this was just right down the middle in terms of like how good I thought it was. It's fine. I hate to say it like that, but yeah, I am still more interested in some arcs more than others. I think enjoy this title more than you do, but I think again, what I like about it is that they just touch on so many different characters within the DCU that you never really get bored, I feel like, because by the time you may be over a certain storyline, they're moving on to something else, right? So I actually enjoy this book because of that, is that it's not just a focus on Batman and Superman. It's Batman, Superman, and then whatever hero of the week type of thing going on here, right? So I kind of like that. I like that about this book. But yeah, go ahead. You want to talk about the Fractured Spectrum?
Yeah, it's I think this is it's almost like an alpha issue. I think they're going to be continuing this on the Green Lantern books. But this Jeremy Adams, it sounds like he's trying to almost reset the whole sort of Green Lantern world. I think the Green Ring is the only ring out there again. And I think in the last issues, Oa, the planet was destroyed, or the central battery was destroyed. So I think in this one here, they're bringing, it starts out with them bringing back the central battery to Oa and sort of repowering Oa. The Guardians are back, but these are different Guardians. They still look the same. They're like little people, I guess, with the big hair and stuff like that. But now they're not here to direct the lanterns. They're here to sort of advise them. And there's a new character, I think, called the Sorrow, and he seems to be the big bad that's going on. And his plan is to build his own, I guess, battery for whatever reason. And it brings in all the other colors there. They kind of explain it. They're pretty good. But I think it is a great jumping on point for Green Lantern. And I did like the issue. I'm not sure if I'll be buying it all, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this stuff.
This Jeremy Adams is getting a lot of work with DC right now, eh? Yeah,
I think he's doing some good stuff there, like to I don't want to say reset things without a reboot, but just try and fix things that have gone awry, let's say. I think the Green Lantern world has gone crazy, with the introduction of all the different, the colors.
Mm-hmm.
I think some things there. I think Kilowog died recently, and he's back now. And basically, you just say a blurb, oh, it must have been an avatar, but we're not really quite sure. But he's back, and we're happy he's here. And that's the end of that, So
yeah, I think I think you're not alone in saying that. I think that's what Green Lantern fans have been saying for a while now, that it's gotten a little out of control. And I mean, you got Jeff Johns to thank for that. He's gotten one of the more iconic kind of runs on the character. But the problem is, he introduced all these themes, and then I feel like once he introduced all this color stuff, then since then they've just continued.
Yeah, everybody's just taking it to the extreme.
Right.
You introduced one different color there. Oh, I got a great idea. Right now we got 5 different colors. There's a million colors we can choose from. So
right. Yeah, that's what I've heard from people because I haven't really read too much Green Lantern, to be honest with you. So, but that's what I've heard is the biggest gripe from fans now, is that they need to kind of go back to basics or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It seems like everything's getting back to basics, and it's good seeing Hal Jordan and everybody around there, looking the way they should, and being heroes, not there's not like some distraught Hal Jordan that's out to destroy everything, or there's some whatever mind controlled Green Lantern trying to destroy things from the inside. It's just it's a good story. I give it 3.75.
Nice. Okay, not bad. You'll have to check it out if it's a good jumping on point. Another book, speaking of the newer jumping on points here, I caught up on this title this week because you've been reading it
So,
since I dropped it. Tom Taylor, Nightwing 122, since he left the title. What'd you think of this?
just what do you think of the artist for this or the art there? I think this
Dexter
artist is
Soy.
great here. Yeah,
Yeah, Dexter Soy. I've seen his work. Yeah, I like how he kind of did different styles too within like the
yeah,
artwork. Like there's some scenes of like the circus stuff in here, which I thought was really good looking scenes. And then he kind of has a different style when you get into kind of like the more Nightwing current day type stuff in this. I'm familiar with his stuff. I've seen his stuff before, but yeah, no, it looked good. Good looking book for sure.
yeah. Like the way you say that that Chris Somney carries the Batman and Robin year one. This artist is definitely carrying this here. You know, the story's it's kind of crazy. You know, whatever the Gotham or the Bloodhaven police department is hiring some Helios people to fund them or to arm them, let's say. And Robin's concerned that you know that the police are just going or overstepping the bounds. And it's hard to say because you don't really see what the police are doing. You know, they kind of grouping all the police in as a whole. But and you know, though I think his arguments here aren't the greatest. You know, I think he goes back to when he was a kid there. I do like some of the lines there when I guess he first meets I don't even know what the character's name was, but he almost talks like the Batman from or the Robin from like the Adam West show there. You know, he's got that holy moly kind of stuff going on. I thought it was a nice little touch, but otherwise, you know, I don't think the story is it's not that bad, but it's got to get together here. But the art's good. I still like the characters, and I'll keep on reading this.
So what I'll say is because like I read issues 119 to 122 this week. Chris has been talking about like he continued to read this book after Tom Taylor left with issue 118 and I stopped reading it. So I caught up because he's been saying that he's been enjoying this new direction. I will say it started off better than where we're at right now with this
Yeah,
issue. And what I think that you kind of were right about in those first couple of issues is that he went off in a direction that felt way more authentic to old like Nightwing comics when the series started in the 90s, like the Chuck Dixon stuff, like all the weird wacky villains that exist in Bloodhaven. And like he kind of I like how he went in a different direction and was focusing on different stuff with him in Bloodhaven that Tom Taylor ended up us with, because like you said, at the end of that run, it was between the pirate stuff and this whole thing that he couldn't jump. Like there was some weird things that he was doing in terms of the story, I would say, in that second half of the
yeah,
Nightwing run. Despite me still enjoying it and still thinking it ended well. But this kind of felt like, again, more of what you expect from a Nightwing book in a way, like, you know what I mean? So, and in a good way, not in like we've been here before. Like this was like a much needed kind of, you know what I mean, return to form, let's say, with him kind of fighting crime in Bloodhaven. But then as the last couple of issues have kind of went on now we're kind of getting into more circus stuff from his past, which I feel like that's been done a lot.
yeah.
Like I
That's
don't
the
really,
beat the death. Leave his past. Like, how big was this circus that it freaking seems to touch every part of his life and every arc of the comics we go through. It's like
yeah,
the trapeze artist, you know, like how many freaking you know, if there was the CEO of this Helios company was part of this circus. His sister, and the I don't know, the guy that was the strong man is heartless. I don't know what it was, but enough.
yeah, I don't care about that much as that stuff as much. And hopefully I think I might continue to read this now as well. I just hope we move on from like this aspect of the storyline. And I think it started off really good though, and I think there's going to be some interesting things waiting for him there in Bloodhaven that he can take on, just enough of the Haley Circus type stuff that they got
Yeah,
going, honestly. What'd you give this?
I got a 3.5.
Same. Yeah. And then Storm number 4. Where is this? There we go. What'd you think?
Yeah, it's this. I'm digging this Storm series. I thought this was another good issue.
Yes.
And between this and Rogue, I've been thinking that you know they're I don't know if Marvel had a meeting in like December and just said, hey, you know, maybe we can move into some more adult themed type
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the vibe I'm getting from this and from the Rogue comic. and I hope it continues. Like, what do they have? They have her here, freaking. They have her all dolled up to the nines. She's getting ready for a dinner
Dr.
with
Doom.
Doom, and it's always good, having Doom kind of talking to these heroes as an equal. And she's throwing a whole bunch of stuff back at him. About what happened during Orcus and all that sort of stuff, or the fall of Krakoa. And once I know she's had this thing where she's dying, though. I'm not too fond of that story beat where if she uses her powers, then she'll die. I guess this was almost close to the end of the 7 days, and then she ends up using him here for some reason.
He forces her hand. He basically brings out one of his servants and he's
Oh,
like,
and he's gonna
I'm
kill
gonna
him
kill this man, and then
because she didn't like the dessert, right?
yeah, unless you do something, and then she's forced to use her power, and then that backfires because then that spirit or whatever thing comes to kill her and kills her. Like it actually kills her, and now she's like in some spirit realm. I don't know what the hell's going on here at the end, and I guess
I
we'll
do
see.
like there's one scene where you kind of see Doom in the background fighting the spirit. And, he's just out there, with those the shields there.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time we've seen Doom actually do some Sorcerer Supreme activity.
I like this comic a lot, man. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, this is the shock of the year so far.
Yeah, I think I missed the ball. I dropped the ball on this one. This is a good one.
Yeah, as how good of a title this has been. And Lucas Werneck, the artist, is absolutely destroying this book. He's in a good way, not in a bad way. Yeah. He's killing it. This guy's killing it. Like it's a great looking book. She keeps putting these situations which are interesting. Every issue has been a one and done, while also still kind of has a through line of story that's happening with her. And it's just been very enjoyable. And I'm always down for anybody that's going to have a sit down with Doom and Latveria. And, again, I don't know how, why they're tying her into this event of all people, but hey, this was a good tie-in issue to this upcoming Doom stuff that's going to be happening. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Very unexpected, this book. I just didn't think this was going to be the title that I'd been enjoying this much. I'm not even that huge of a Storm fan, to be honest. Oh yeah, and then she sees her father there in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Which, they talked about that. I
know. With Mom here, no, it's not your time. Go.
Yeah, but still, good stuff. I really enjoyed this series. I'm definitely going to be picking up the trade of this when it comes out. I've already decided, because I've been reading this digitally, but I'm going to pick up the collections of this because I really like this artist a lot too. Look at Lucas Werneck. So good stuff. Yep. What'd you think? What'd you give this?
I might be throwing this a 4 too.
Same. Yeah. Good series. All right. And then finally, we got Amazing Spider-Man 65-point deaths, Chris.
Jeez Louise. How does Phil Coulson's freaking origin story end up in a Spider-Man comic? I think the art was fine for this, or I thought the art was good. They're for some guy, except Peter Parker didn't look like Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But everything else going on there I thought was decent. But enough with the dying and the death. How did this Death of Spider-Man meeting? Okay, we got 10 issues. What are we going to do? Oh, well, they're going to talk about dying for all of them. Let them die a few times in the beginning, and then we're just going to freaking lay right into. We're going to give them 3 issues in 3 months in the dead of winter when everybody's the most depressed, and just talk about die. Come on, give me a break with this stuff. Enough for it.
I love what you're saying here, because I honestly, Chris, while reading this issue, and maybe it's effective in that way, it actually got me upset while reading it, because I started thinking of my demise, and right? So that I was just like,
it's like I freaking read comics to escape freaking reality, not have it thrown in my face.
Right? Yeah. So I think this was better done than the last one, where it was the last issue where it was like, Peter Parker, this is your life. And it was like one of those things where it's just like the Ghost of Christmas Future type shit that they were doing.
Your shit life.
Yeah. But in this
one, this is how they die.
They have this heart-to-heart kind of talk. There's the thing. I don't want to say I enjoyed this, but I thought it was well done in a way. But I seriously was thinking about my own death while reading this. I was like, I don't want to fucking think about this while reading this book. I don't know. It was, yeah, mixed feelings on this one. That's funny you say that because I literally thought that while reading this. I was just like, what the hell? And then, Peter Parker's like, take a look at my life, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. Whoa.
Oh, brutal.
Colson's like, oh, yeah, you really have had a hard time. Oh boy,
Yeah.
Peter Parker has had one of the worst lives in superhero comics.
How do you do this battle? And he already felt bad for him just watching him die all those other times. Oh.
Oh man, yeah. So to say the least, that's what I mean. I have mixed feelings on this one. Is that an indication that it was well done? Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good comic. I don't even know if it's a good comic, but
Yeah, I'm
I
quite
know this stuff at the end. Oh, this
right.
kid there, whatever, death's in the closet. Oh, you can see me. Maybe you are special.
Mhm.
You're Phil Coulson. You're not special. Okay, they made you for the MCU, and that's it.
And yeah,
But let's see what's going on next. Time he's supposed to meet up with Felicia Hardy, so looking forward to that. Maybe, maybe they can have a heart to heart and see what's going on there.
yeah. So let's get a move on here with this story. Let's get away from this shit. They weren't kidding when they literally put deaths in the title. Deaths.
Brutal.
What'd you give this?
Talking about, I give it a 3.75, but it's a 3.5.
Yes, I'm gonna give it a 3.75 too. I'm so conflicted on this. That's as high as I can go, because I'm so down the middle in terms of how it made me feel. Where I'm just like, I don't like this. All
I don't
right,
need this Spider-Man comic. Come on.
I know. What is this shit? All right, guys, those are this week's books that we read and wanted to talk about here. Chris, what are you looking forward to reading next week?
Shit. Hold on.
No worries. You want me to start then? I got my list.
Yeah, if you got it ready there, I'll bring this up while you do yours.
Absolute Wonder Woman number 4. This is for January 22nd this week, next week. Absolute Wonder Woman number 4. Very much looking forward to that. Like Chris just mentioned, Amazing Spider-Man 66 with Black Cat. Creep Show Volume 3 number 5, last issue of this miniseries. Drawing Blood number 7. Always look forward to that. Harley Quinn 47, Justice League Unlimited number 3. Oh, there we go. Ultimate Spider-Man 13. That's really looking forward to that. The way that last issue.
I want to see how they're going to play that one out too, because if they're still doing this month by month, the last time we saw him was on Christmas, and now it's even if it's New Year's Day, that means he's been a week. He better not be just sitting in his couch. Oh, that was a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way they ended that last issue, oh boy, I can't wait to see what's. And you got Craven on the cover of this one, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Uncanny X-Men number 9. I think this is my last issue I have pre-ordered of that. Void Rivals 16. Likewise, I think this might be my last. I think I dropped that now. Wow, this one felt like it's taken a while to come out. Wolverine Revenge Red Band number 4.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing something.
Oh yeah,
probably was some slowdown. I don't know if it was the writing or the.
Said it wasn't him, right? Was it Capullo the one? He's like he publicly said that it wasn't him.
Yeah, it was saying me. This one I don't care if it doesn't. It doesn't have to come out on time, just as long as it comes out, bi-monthly. Even that's good.
Right, and then okay, here we go. Wonder Woman 17 does come out next week, and I really hope I pre-ordered this one. I think there's the Frank Cho sweater weather cover.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that one. I've seen him post what it was finally too, because Frank Cho was behind on his cover, so he posted a bunch of shit that he kind of just sent to DC a week or two ago. So it looked like a good one. How about you, Chris?
Okay, so for Marvel, Ultimate Spider-Man 13, Amazing Spider-Man 66. I think I'm getting Uncanny X-Men, and I think that's February, March. Yeah, March I dropped it after just getting into it. But the Wolverine Red Band edition, I think I'm looking forward to that. Supposedly it takes place in Old Man Wolverine time or something.
Okay.
Maybe not Old Man Wolverine or Old Man Logan time, but I think he's aged up here a little bit.
Okay.
And let's see, what else do we got? I think that's it for Marvel. Oh, fuck, what did I just do? Let's see, DC. I'll probably read Detective Comics. I don't know if I ordered that. I don't think I ordered that one. Absolute Wonder Woman 4, Superman 22. I'll probably be reading Justice League. I don't know if I'm getting that still. Wonder Woman 17, Catwoman. See what's going on there. I'm not sure if I ordered this one or not either. I got Black Canary. Best of the Best 3 is out.
Oh yeah, I'll be reading that. Yeah.
Let's see what's cooking in Image. Yeah, definitely read Void Rivals. You haven't been following this World Tree anymore, have you?
No, because I'm picking up the collections now.
Oh,
So
yeah, you're kind of waiting. Yeah.
yeah.
And let's see. Maybe I'll try and read Savage Dragon. It looks like Drawing Blood is out too, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
We got some good stuff to read next week.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. All right. But that was what we're looking forward to checking out next week. Chris, what is your favorite book of the week this week?
Let's see here.
It's tough for me, to be honest with you. I don't know if there's any like standouts here. A lot of 4s we gave out here, but not I don't know.
I don't know. This is a must-have comic. You got to have this one.
Yeah.
This is a must-have. This is going up on a wall somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, the story's decent, and just that cover alone is enough to make it my favorite comic of the week.
Yeah, it's definitely in the running for me this week. I don't think I'd give it to that. But yeah, that cover, great cover. I don't also want to I almost just was gonna give it to Ultimate Wolverine, but I feel like it was just not there. If they had a little bit more going on in that first issue, I would have given it to that. But I feel, you know what? I'm gonna give it to Storm. I'm gonna give it to Storm because I think
that is reasonable.
It is reasonable. It was a good issue this week.
Yep.
And I also think that it's representative of how I've been feeling about the series as well. Like where I'm just like every issue that comes out, I'm just like, you know what? This is actually a really good book. And I don't think I've given it my favorite of the week yet. So I'm going to give it to Storm number 4. Yeah. So but yeah, Ultimate Wolverine was good. Rogue Savage Land, but a good couple of number 1s this week, actually. And they were both mutant related. So, hey, that's, you know, I'm happy.
How long do you think before Wolverine finds himself again? You think he's going to be the whole arc bad, or by the end of the arc, he's going to remember?
I think he'll get some of his memory back by the end because, again, if they're following like a Weapon X type of storyline where he's being used as a weapon here, it makes sense.
Winter Soldier, as they call him, yeah.
Right. He's the Winter Soldier of this universe in that sense. Yeah. No, I like this issue. You're right. Like, how long are they gonna, you know, beat that dead horse of this trope of something that we've seen from this character before, right? But I think under the right context of this being the ultimate version and them telling a different type of story, I'm interested to see what they do with that, though. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, listen, it's better than the ongoing Wolverine series.
Oh yeah,
one issue in, I'm definitely more invested in this one. Yeah. So we'll see where they do with it, though. I mean, what I'm more interested in seeing is how they connect this title to the other titles, like the Ultimates and like Spider-Man, or if
it's still taking place in Asia or Eurasia, wherever they want to call it there. So it's on the other side of the world.
Right.
But who knows when the maker comes back?
Right.
You know, shit's going to hit the fan. So
right.
That is a nice little kind of device they have there, that clock ticking, you know, down the months. So
right. Yeah, it's been good stuff. But there you go. As Storm and Rogue Savage Land number 1, Storm number 4, and Rogue Savage Land number 1 are favorites of the week this week. Yeah, decent week. And we'll be back here again next week to do it all over again. And looking forward to it. And make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Thank you, Chris, once again, as always. And
all right, thank you.
We'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Later.
Cheers.